Have you ever imagined yourself experiencing something surreal in an unexpected way? Well, this man here went through one of the craziest things that could happen to any human being, but many don't believe his story. Today, we're going to talk about the abduction case of Juscelino Matos. But before we start, leave your like, don't subscribe to forget, activate the bell too, and tag along, because I'm Tiago Tadeo, and welcome to the Upside Down. Common life in Maringa. Juscelino Matos was born in the city of Jaguapita, a small municipality in the state of Paraná, located in the south of Brazil. But when he was still very young, he ended up moving to Maringá, a city that would change his life forever. His unbelievable story took place on an unbelievable day. According to Juscelino, it was on April 13th and a Friday the 13th, while at that, one of the most mysterious abduction cases in Brazil would begin. The date also marked Passion Friday, an event widely worshipped by Christians and for which Catholics involves going to Mass. Because of this, Juscelino's mother really wanted to go, and everyone met at her sister's house so they could all go together on their way to the place of worship. The day went on like any other. Despite being a Friday the 13th, everything was going fine until Juscelino's brother-in-law's car didn't start. The Beetle was new according to his story, but the car wouldn't start at all. With that, everyone was late for Mass, and Juscelino's mother gave up, preferring to return home. It was only at that moment that, strangely, the Beetle decided to work, but even so, not all people could fit in it. On his way home, Juscelino had to walk back with his younger brother. The path was safe, even though it was at night, so neither of them had cared much to walk a little under the stars. Well, but as I said before, right? That day would change Juscelino's life forever. The paranormal experience. Juscelino was returning home with his younger brother. While our main character was 17 at the time, his younger brother was 13, and it was the little one who noticed that something very strange was going on. The two were passing by a place where there was a large avocado tree and a very deep erosion hole that was between them and the tree. Juscelino's brother saw at that moment that there was a star that seemed to pulsate. She glowed far away in the sky, but also gave the impression of following the boys along the way. It was when they noticed this that it all happened. Somehow, they were attracted to the tree through a sort of levitation that made them go through the hole more than 3 meters deep. Afterwards, they both fell to the ground next to the avocado tree and passed out in a deep sleep filled with darkness. The event took place at around 10 p.m. and Juscelino woke up only around 4:30 a.m. It all seemed very strange, but this is just the beginning of the story. Juscelino and his brother ran home where everyone was worried, and there they told him everything that had happened. When they looked up at the sky again, they saw that there was a mysterious star still there. The new insight into the unidentified mysterious object eventually led to the other moments of terror. The two brothers fell to the ground again, and their mother despaired over what had happened. Who knows how she managed to get them both into the house, but after she did, she started some sort of natural treatment. After a long massage with alcohol and camphor, the two returned to normal and did not understand anything that was happening. Well, who would, right? But everyone knew one thing. Something paranormal was the main reason for it all. Juscelino did not know what it was at the time, but he suspected direct contact with aliens. His brother-in-law suspected this too, so he ran to the police to file a complaint. The next morning, Juscelino would end up becoming one of the best-known people in town. Escape from Maringa. With the complaint at the police station, the local newspapers found out about the strange case of the possible abduction. All of the spotlights ended up falling on Juscelino, who was older and could give better explanations, even if he didn't actually know much about what had happened that night. In the city, many people actually believed that something supernatural really happened, but the vast majority doubted the story. And with that, there was enormous pressure on Juscelino. This led him to flee Maringá to live in another city in the region. Juscelino then lived away from the place where he grew up for almost 3 years until he was 21, and then he returned to Maringá. He never forgot that night, even though other important things had happened in his life. like his wedding. Upon his return home, Juscelino ended up meeting a famous ufology group in the region, and together they wanted to find out about the fateful night. For this, 17 hypnosis sessions were recorded on tapes, all revealing unbelievable things. At the time, the material was considered the best recorded abduction case in Brazil, a feat that earned them a book called UFO Abduction at Maringá, and curiously, this book was published abroad. Return and compression. Now, what actually happened? What unbelievable experiences had he gone through? What would he have seen? Juscelino discovered all this with the extensive and tiring hypnosis sessions. Following the order of the story, first he and his brother were lured to the big tree on the other side of the hole and collapsed to the ground moments later. What he didn't know was that he had been taken to some kind of spaceship while his younger brother remained sleeping on the grass. It was in that instant that the universe opened up to him. Juscelino visited several areas on the ship, from the administrative sectors to the medical rooms that looked like they came out of some science fiction movie. There, he could see several screens with images of the planet Earth. This on televisions that seemed much more advanced than those that existed at the time. Oh, and it's worth mentioning, family, that the story took place in the 70s, that is, in the past, right? As for the mysterious beings that had kidnapped Juscelino, they didn't seem to be very different from human beings. They looked the same with only two exceptions. The first is that they were all of a very tall average height, between about 6 feet and 2 feet. But the most different thing is that they all had 6 fingers on their hands. This was the thing that Juscelino found the most strange. But other than that, they could just be considered ordinary humans who came from another planet. On the ship, Juscelino went through a series of experiences. From collecting blood to cutting a few strands of hair, the mysterious beings wanted to know more about humans, as they were constantly visiting our planet for more observations. According to Juscelino, their intention was to return someday and land at an airport being seen as equals, without us thinking that they wanted to invade or anything like that. This, however, would be hard work. Now, of all the experiences, the one that surprised me the most was the fact that Juscelino had a daughter with one of the aliens. He had intercourse with a scientist named Dr. Zentra, and together, they had a hybrid that happened to live on a planet known as Tartum. And how did he know all this? Apparently, the hypnosis session brought back more than what had happened that night of Friday the 13th. The mysterious beings came back more often to visit Juscelino, and this led, another 40 years after the abduction, to the man publishing another book. In 2020, after a few more hypnosis sessions, Juscelino released The Amazing Abduction Story in Maringá, telling in Portuguese everything that happened in his life, and how he lives today, knowing that aliens exist. Currently, Juscelino works as an industrial electrician and also as an energy therapist. At least that's what I found on the internet. He seeks to apply the knowledge he had from the paranormal experience. In an interview with GMC Online, he even highlighted that after the abduction, he became another person much calmer and more aware of the world. Yeah, fam, I know the subject divides a lot of opinions, and I want to know yours. Do you believe that aliens actually exist? Tell us here in the comments. We'll see each other in the next video. A hug, be well, and until next time.